All right, let's get right into it. In the business world, we like to think some decisions are just straight up math. When things get tight, leaders open up the financial playbook, and one of the oldest plays in there is the salary cut. Seems simple enough, doesn't it? A direct way to cut costs and stay afloat.
And that's the big assumption, right? That it's all just a clean, logical equation. Expenses are up, so you bring payroll down. It's treated like a purely financial move, a tough but necessary adjustment. But what if that whole assumption is just wrong? What if a salary cut isn't just a number on a spreadsheet, but a powerful signal that can be catastrophically misunderstood?
Because there's this one really surprising piece of data that flips this entire idea on its head. It suggests that for certain kinds of organizations, this supposedly logical move is actually, well, the worst thing you can do. This is the number that just breaks the whole equation. I know, it looks small, maybe even kind of random, but what it represents is this hidden tripwire in how companies actually work. So what on earth is it? Okay, so this is a statistically significant negative correlation. In simple terms, it shows a fascinating pattern. For teams that operate with what we'll call a green mindset, the ones who really value community, consensus, and relationships, salary cuts are almost a non-starter. The data shows that the more green a company's culture gets, the less likely they are to ever use this tool. Why? Because for them, it's not a financial decision. It's seen as a direct violation of their core values.
And this table really shows you just how strongly they feel about it. I mean, look at how a green system handles other ways to save money. Unpaid vacation? A massive positive correlation. It's seen as a shared sacrifice, the whole team taking a hit together to save the ship. But a salary cut? Nope. Strongly negative. It's not interpreted as we're all in this together. It's seen as a personal, one-sided attack on the relationship between the company and the employee.
So let's build on that, because it's not just about one group's reaction. The real danger here, the thing that can tear a company apart, is when you realize that one single action is being decoded in completely different, totally conflicting ways all at the same time. And this is how you get a total Tower of Babel situation inside a company. So imagine a leader announces a salary cut. The red-minded folks who respect raw power, they see a strong move. The boss is in charge, they can do what they want. The blue-minded people who value order, they just check if it follows company rules. If so, fine. The orange-minded, all about results, they pull out a calculator and analyze the financial logic. But the green-minded employees, they feel completely betrayed. The leader thinks they're speaking the language of finance, but a huge part of the team just heard the language of betrayal.
And when that huge miscommunication happens in a system where green values are strong, it doesn't just create some bad vibes, it kicks off a predictable, cascading system failure.
The very first thing to go is trust. In places that run on collaboration and consensus, a top-down decision like this is just devastating. All that talk about we're a family suddenly feels like a complete lie. And what's really wild is that your best people don't leave for a 10% raise somewhere else. They leave because that invisible contract of trust, that promise of we're in this together, has just been shattered.
It's like a domino effect. It starts with that first crack in the relationship. That crack leads to trust eroding. And once you lose trust, you can't get consensus. And when a system that needs consensus can't find it anymore, it just fragments. It breaks apart. The very thing that made it strong, everyone being connected, becomes the thing that makes it fall apart.
And this quote from Valery Kosenko, it nails it perfectly. That gap, the one between what leadership thinks they're saying and how the team actually hears it, that is the silent empty space where a company's culture just goes to die. So, how do we stop this from happening? How do we get ahead of these collapses instead of just reacting to them? The answer is to start making these invisible dynamics visible.
This is where we can move beyond gut feelings and into something more like, a science. The solution is a kind of predictive model. Think of it like a simulator for your company's culture. You plug in the psychological profile of your team, you run a proposed action like a salary cut through it, and it predicts the fallout. It actually calculates the hidden costs, translating things like fear and broken trust into a real, measurable impact on the system's health.
This kind of thing lets a leader basically A/B test their decisions, not just on a spreadsheet, but on the psychological well-being of their entire organization. Instead of accidentally creating that Tower of Babel scenario, you can see the fault lines ahead of time. It really changes leadership from this reactive art form into a predictive science. It's about seeing the ripple effects of your choices before you ever make a splash.
So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on.
When a really tough financial decision stops being framed as a shared sacrifice, something the whole group adapts to, and instead becomes a burden that individual people have to carry, what is it that really breaks? It might be a lot more than just their bank account. It might be the whole system.